Welcome back to our set of videos on Kenyan farmers' responses to climate change. In this video, we will explore the methods economists use to understand how farmers are adapting to climate change and the economic consequences of these adaptations. Three families of approaches are standing out in the literature: the direct evidence approach, the Ricardian approach, and the structural Ricardian approach. First, the direct evidence approach observes real-time changes, such as the adoption of drought-resistant crops or innovative water conservation techniques. It provides a tangible, clear example of how households respond to climate increasing variability. However, the direct evidence approach only covers changes that we can observe and measure. This might overlook smaller but important adaptation. It might also overlook other changes that are hard to detect or even measure. Second, the Ricardian framework, named after the economist David Ricardo, is often used to assess the economic impact of climate change in agriculture. In the Ricardian model, farmers choose their activities and practices with the aim of maximizing net profits. But their choices are constrained by the climate and available technologies. As the climate changes, so are the challenges for the farmers. They might change the crops they grow or use new technologies. These changes are very important. They affect how much money farms make. And when markets are functioning, this will influence the value of the land. For example, if land values go down, it indicates that climate change is having a negative consequence on agriculture. Using regression models, we can estimate how changes in climate variables impact land values. The parameters estimate are then used to project long-run welfare impact of climate change on the agricultural sector, accounting for the full range of available farmers' adaptation under the current prices and technology. Third, the structural Ricardian model integrates the direct approach and the Ricardian approach. The Ricardian approaches are simple. They use land values to clearly show the financial effects of climate change, considering different ways farmers might adapt. However, researchers have noted three main weaknesses. First, the model makes up for not having time series data by using changes in climate across different areas. This means it needs a lot of data from regions contrasted in terms of current climate. Second, land markets are not perfect, and this can lead to biased estimate of how households adapt to climate change. Third, some unobservable variables that correlate with climate and influence land prices can lead to additional biases. The approaches presented so far belong to the family of revealed preference methods. This means they rely on real, observable behaviors like adoption of technologies or measurable indicators like land prices. Considering the issues with these methods, we chose to try a less common approach from stated preference methods, the contingent behavior approach. Stated preference methods are a group of techniques that record how people say they would behave under hypothetical situations. Common methods include the contingent valuation methods and discrete choice experiments, which are often used to value environmental changes. For example, in a contingent valuation survey, respondents state their willingness to pay for an hypothetical but specific environmental benefit. This method relies heavily on the scenario's credibility and, when not done carefully, can be prone to hypothetical bias. In the same way, the contingent behavior approach, we will present hypothetical but credible scenarios of climate change to farmers and ask them how they would change their livelihood activity if it occurred. For example, we asked farmers how they would adjust their activities if the numbers of days with extreme heat increased dramatically. To facilitate data analysis, we give them a list of options to choose from. For example, they could decide to increase the numbers of days they work outside the farm, or they could as well switch crops to more heat-resistant varieties, or even quit agriculture altogether. Indeed, they are free to choose several of the options proposed, or choose none of them. In the last case, it indicates that they are not considering any of the adaptations proposed. Why did we choose the contingent behavior approach? First, by using hypothetical scenarios, the contingent behavior approach allows for a direct elicitation of behavioral responses, avoiding reliance on indirect market data. Second, by using future climate change scenarios, the contingent behavior approach can track how people respond to changes in climate over time. This provides insight into long-term adaptation, not just immediate reactions. Third, since it randomly assigns climate scenarios, it helps mitigate issues of reverse causality and selection bias. And last but not least, given its design, the contingent behavior method is especially suited for an environment where traditional data collection is challenging and where land markets do not adequately reflect climate change impacts. Using the contingent behavior approach, we wanted to test whether it provided a more robust method for assessing how households might respond to climate change. In the next videos, we will present the different steps to build our contingent behavior surveys and some of the analysis that were conducted.